All right, let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, this is a very talented team that kind of underperformed these past couple seasons, namely due to issues at coach. They've got that addressed this offseason. Now, the next main issue to address is the quarterback position. We've got some exciting news on that front. Let's go ahead and pull up the report. This is from Alex Lord over at Sports Talk Atlanta. At one point, it looked plausible that the Falcons could trade up in the draft to find their franchise quarterback, but that no longer seems feasible. Or does it? My expectation, again, Alex Lord, is the Bears, Commanders, and Patriots select quarterbacks, but a path to trade up with one of them has emerged. I'm hearing a bit of buzz about the third pick, which belongs to New England Patriots, Jeremy Fowler writes. There are people around the league who believe they are open to trade at the number 3 selection, moving back in the draft and addressing the quarterback position in free agency. If the Pats do trade that pick, the two teams I keep an eye on are the Falcons moving up from the number 8 spot and the Vikings, moving up from the number 11 spot, assuming they don't bring back Kirk Cousins. All right, first and foremost, it's very important to understand that Jeremy Fowler is a very good reporter. He's a very honest guy. He's not some fly-by-night guy on social media. Very well-connected individual who works for ESPN. So when Jeremy Fowler reports something, that means he has real sources saying it. So to me, based on Jeremy Fowler's comments here, that the Patriots, there's a strong likelihood that they are looking to trade back, and the Falcons would be one of those teams interested in moving up to number 3 to select a quarterback. Before we go more in deep on this, on the other side, I want Falcons fans in the comment section below. Tell me who you think the next Atlanta Falcons starting quarterback should be. Do you think they should go after a guy like Justin Fields, a guy like Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill? Or do you think they should trade up in the draft and maybe get a Drake May or Jane Daniels? Let us know in the comment section below. I should say, let me know. It's just me today. Let me know in the comment section below who you think the Atlanta Falcons should take as their next starting quarterback, free agency, draft, trade, whatever it may be. All right, so it's important to understand when any team is making a move to decide how they're going to address the quarterback position, they have to look at the context of the entire NFL. And you never want to be in a situation to overreach, right? We saw this a couple years ago. As Atlanta Falcons fans are very well aware, that was a terrible draft class 2 years ago at the quarterback position. You saw the Pittsburgh Steelers take Kenny Pickett, the only first-round selection quarterback taken that year. And Kenny Pickett basically looks like his career is over with the Steelers. He looks like the bust. Malik Willis was taken by the Tennessee Titans. He was a promising prospect. At least it appeared that way, but he has done absolutely nothing with the Tennessee Titans. The Titans have moved off of him into Will Levis. Will Levis is now their future. Of course, we all know about the Falcons and Desmond Ridder, but how about the Panthers and Matt Corral? They selected Corral that year. Now the Panthers have totally moved on, and Matt Corral's NFL career is basically over. It never really started. That was a terrible draft class for the rookie quarterback. Next year, the 2025 draft class is reportedly to be just as bad, maybe even worse. The 2024 draft class is set right now to be one of the best quarterback draft classes in probably the last 3-4 years, and probably the best one to come around for another 2 or 3 years. So if you want a quarterback to reset your franchise, this is the year to aggressively go after it. Earlier this offseason, we talked about the Falcons maybe in a position to pick up a guy like Kirk Cousins because they have some of the cap space and they have some capital. Bring in Kirk Cousins, and I think Kirk Cousins on the Atlanta Falcons, and they're the best team in the NFC South. However, now that we can take a step back and look at the dynamic of the entire National Football League, the reality is because the quarterback classes going forward are not going to be very good, getting a guy like Kirk Cousins, in my opinion, is just a short-term solution. You don't have a long-term answer at quarterback. It's a Band-Aid. At this point, if you're Atlanta and you're trying to reset this franchise going forward and get back to winning regularly, which it wasn't that long ago before that the Falcons were one of the most consistently winning teams in the National Football League, whether it was with Mike Smith or whether it was with Dan Quinn, they were winning a lot of football games. In fact, even before that, they won a lot of games with Jim Mora, right? This was a team that won a lot of games, made a lot of deep playoff runs, basically since the early 2000s. It's only recently that they've really struggled. For them to return to that, though, they need a franchise quarterback. They obviously had Vic for a long time, and of course, Matt Ryan after that. Kirk Cousins is a quality guy. I think he's a really nice starting quarterback, but at this point in his career, he's not the long-term answer, and he never really was the elite of the elite, if you excuse me. Potentially moving up and taking advantage of this really strong draft class could give the Falcons their chance of an elite kind of guy, in which case would most likely be at number 3 with Drake May and Jane Daniels. Now let's look at their potential trade part, the New England Patriots. We know Robert Kraft, he's older, he's very impatient. We saw this past season. For whatever reason, he doesn't believe in rebuilds. He wants the Patriots to immediately compete. Going rookie quarterback is a way to prevent that from immediately competing, especially when you consider the talent on New England. New England is not a very talented team. So for the Patriots, it makes sense for them to go out and get a Kirk Cousins. They have an incredible amount of cap space. They certainly can afford it. And to move back in the draft and pick up some more assets to maybe trade and get more veteran players that way. That would fit what Robert Kraft and the Patriots are trying to do, which I think opens up the door for the Atlanta Falcons to move up from 8 to 3. Now, the reality is, as an Atlanta Falcons fan, you'd probably have to give up a first-round pick next year. And again, that sounds like a lot, and normally it is. But think about it from this perspective. How many picks are you going to waste, even if they're good picks, if you don't have the right quarterback? London was a great first-round pick. Robinson was a great first-round pick. How many years and picks like that are you going to waste because you have poor quarterback play? I'd rather go all in at this point. You know you have a talented football team. Terry Fontenot is a quality GM. Arthur Blank's a really good owner. Rich McKay has been removed some from the football side. So the front office and the whole organization is getting better and better. Now is the opportunity to go out and get your guy. Now is the time for you to get your Josh Allen, to trade up and get your Patrick Mahomes, or trade up and get your Lamar Jackson. If you want to be the elite of the elite teams in the National Football League, you either have to be terrible and get lucky and you get a Joe Burrow, or you have to trade up and make a move and take a first-round quarterback. The Brock Purdy's, they're great stories. They don't happen. The best teams in football are first-round quarterbacks. The teams that make deep playoff runs are first-round quarterbacks. Just look at this past postseason. The Packers, Jordan Love, first-round quarterback. Beat Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys, fourth-round quarterback. Jared Goff, first-round quarterback. Matt Stafford, first-round quarterback. The AFC is the same way. Allen, first-round quarterback. Mahomes, Jackson. Burrow when healthy. Deshaun Watson, right? Obviously, he was hurt, but still, first-round quarterback. Right? C.J. Stroud, first-round quarterback. Heck, even Joe Flacco, when he replaced Watson for Cleveland, he was a former first-round quarterback. The reality is, to be successful in the NFL, you need that first-round talent. The Falcons have a chance to go out and get one right here. I think they'd be smart to take advantage of the opportunity. And honestly, with a guy like Terry Fontenot and the way he thinks, I think they're going to pull this off. Falcons fans, don't be surprised if in short order you're starting to hear more and more about Atlanta trading up specifically with the New England Patriots, and that Jaden Daniels most likely will be the next starting quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons.